A dagger of the mind, Macbeth. A name whispered with fear and awe, a tale spun in blood and ambition. It's a chilling story, a man once noble consumed by darkness. Shakespeare's play is a tragedy. It explores the depths of human desire. It shows us what happens when ambition goes unchecked. The play is set in Scotland, a land of rugged beauty and fierce warriors. Macbeth, a brave general, returns from battle. He is victorious, he's respected, but fate, it seems, has other plans for him. Whispers of fate. On a desolate heath, Macbeth encounters three witches. Their words are like poison, seeping into his soul. They predict his future. They hail him as Thane of Cawdor and King. These prophecies ignite a fire within him. It's a fire fueled by ambition.
Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor. Hail to thee, future king.
Macbeth is both tempted and terrified. His wife, Lady Macbeth, seizes upon the prophecy. She is ambitious, ruthless. She will stop at nothing to see her husband crowned king. The stain of kingship. The very title evokes a sense of foreboding, a sense of inevitable doom that accompanies the pursuit of power. The murder of King Duncan is a turning point in the play. It marks the beginning of Macbeth's descent into madness and tyranny. This act of regicide is not just a political maneuver, it is a moral and ethical transgression that disrupts the natural order. It's a dark deed, committed in the dead of night. The setting itself reflects the moral darkness of the act. The moonlit night and the flickering candles create an eerie atmosphere, heightening the sense of dread and foreboding. Macbeth, driven by his wife's ambition and his own desires, takes the life of his king, his guest. The act is brutal. It is calculated. Lady Macbeth's manipulation and Macbeth's own vaulting ambition lead him down this dark path. The bloody dagger symbolizes the irreversible nature of his actions.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise? These words capture Macbeth's immediate regret and paranoia. The weight of his actions begins to sink in, and he is already haunted by the consequences.
The consequences are immediate and devastating. The natural world seems to react to the unnatural act of regicide. The landscape is devastated, battles ensue, and the people mourn the loss of their rightful king. Chaos spreads throughout the kingdom. Macbeth is crowned king, but his reign is cursed from the start. The coronation, which should be a moment of triumph, is overshadowed by the dark deeds that brought him to power. The throne room, usually a symbol of stability and order, now feels like a place of impending doom. He is haunted by guilt and paranoia. He becomes a tyrant. The blood on his hands is not just literal, but symbolic of the guilt that he cannot wash away. His haunted expression reveals the inner torment that plagues him. He is feared by his subjects. The people who once looked up to him now cower in fear. His rule is marked by oppression and cruelty. The castle, once a place of refuge, becomes a prison for those who live under his tyranny. He is hated by those who were once loyal. Betrayal becomes a common theme as those who once supported him turn against him. The angry mob and the soldiers' defections signify the collapse of his power. His reign, built on blood and treachery, crumbles as quickly as it began. Shadows of guilt. In the dark corridors of Macbeth's mind, shadows of guilt and paranoia begin to take form, casting long, eerie shadows on the walls of his conscience. Banquo, Macbeth's friend and fellow general, becomes a threat. Once a trusted ally, Banquo's presence now looms over Macbeth like a dark cloud, a constant reminder of the prophecy that foretold his own downfall. He too was given a prophecy by the witches. The witches, with their cryptic words and sinister rituals, had planted the seeds of ambition and fear in Banquo's heart as well. They foretold that his descendants would be kings. This prophecy, though seemingly favourable to Banquo, becomes a source of deep-seated anxiety for Macbeth, who sees his own lineage threatened. Macbeth sees Banquo as a rival. He orders his murder. In a desperate bid to secure his throne, Macbeth's mind becomes a battlefield of ruthless decisions and moral decay. But Banquo's ghost returns to haunt Macbeth at a feast. The ghostly apparition of Banquo with his accusing eyes becomes a manifestation of Macbeth's guilt and fear. He sees the ghost seated at his table. The sight of Banquo's ghost at the banquet table is a chilling reminder of the blood on Macbeth's hands.
Thou canst not say I did it. Macbeth's desperate denial echoes through the hall, a futile attempt to absolve himself of the crime he committed. "Never shake thy gory locks at me." The ghost's silent accusation, with its bloody locks, drives Macbeth further into madness as he tries to deflect the blame.
This scene is pivotal. It marks the beginning of Macbeth's descent into paranoia and madness, a turning point where his grip on reality starts to slip. It shows us the depth of Macbeth's paranoia. His once confident demeanor is now replaced with a constant state of fear and suspicion. He is losing his grip on reality. His mind is unraveling. The weight of his actions is too much to bear, and his sanity begins to fracture. He is tormented by guilt and fear. The shadows of guilt that haunt Macbeth are relentless, driving him to the brink of madness and beyond as he grapples with the consequences of his ambition and betrayal. Lady Macbeth, once so strong and ambitious, also begins to crack under the pressure. She sleepwalks, she sees blood on her hands.
Out, damn spot, out, I say.
She is consumed by guilt. Her descent into madness is heartbreaking. She is haunted by the memory of Duncan's murder.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh.
She whispers of blood and darkness. Her mind, once sharp and calculating, is shattered. Macbeth, now a tyrant, becomes even more ruthless. His ambition has consumed him entirely, transforming him from a once noble warrior into a figure of terror and dread. The weight of his actions bears heavily on his mind, yet he continues down his dark path, driven by an insatiable hunger for power. He orders the murder of Macduff's family, a heinous act that marks a point of no return. This brutal decision is not just a strategic move, but a manifestation of his growing paranoia and desperation to secure his throne.
The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife. I will ensure that no one who opposes me remains unscathed. My wrath will be felt by all who dare to challenge my rule. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. None shall be spared from my vengeance. The bloodshed is relentless, and the cries of the innocent echo through the halls of the castle. Macbeth's orders are carried out with ruthless efficiency, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake.
Macduff is a nobleman who fled to England after Duncan's death. He seeks refuge and allies to challenge Macbeth's tyrannical reign. His departure is a glimmer of hope for those who still believe in justice and honor. This act of cruelty further isolates Macbeth. His castle, once a symbol of strength and power, now stands as a monument to his madness and isolation. The walls that once protected him now feel like a prison. He is alone in his paranoia and despair. The ghosts of his past deeds haunt him, and the weight of his guilt is unbearable. He trusts no one, not even those closest to him.
I am in blood stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. I am trapped in a cycle of violence and bloodshed with no way out. My soul is stained, and redemption seems impossible.
He is a king in name only. The crown he wears is heavy with the weight of his sins, and the throne he sits upon is cold and empty. His power is an illusion, built on fear and blood. He has lost the respect of his people. The townspeople, once loyal subjects, now turn away in fear and disgust. His kingdom is crumbling, and his rule is marked by tyranny and despair. He has lost his own soul. The man who once fought for honor and glory is now a shadow of his former self, consumed by his own darkness. His heart is heavy with regret, and his mind is a labyrinth of torment. Blood will have blood. Macduff, consumed by grief and rage, vows revenge.
I will have my vengeance. I will see justice done.
He joins forces with Malcolm, Duncan's son, and together they raise an army to overthrow Macbeth. The final battle is a clash of good and evil, light and darkness. Macbeth, believing himself invincible, fights with the fury of a cornered animal. He has lost everything. He has nothing left to lose. The price of power. But Macbeth's reign of terror is coming to an end.
I was untimely ripped from my mother's womb. The witch's prophecy will be fulfilled.
He kills Macbeth in a final bloody confrontation. With Macbeth's death, Scotland is free from tyranny. Malcolm, the rightful heir, is proclaimed king. But the victory is bittersweet. The cost of ambition has been high. A tyrant's demise. Macbeth's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition. He is a tragic figure. He is a man who allowed his desires to consume him. He is a man who lost his way in the pursuit of power. His downfall is a reminder that ambition, while a powerful motivator, can also be a destructive force. Ambition's cruel grip. Macbeth's tragedy resonates even today. It reminds us that power corrupts. It shows us the dangers of giving in to our darkest desires. It is a story that will stay with you long after the curtain falls.